What's up, you guys? My name's Keysine and welcome to my channel where we're always writing it right. I am so excited to be doing a video for you guys today. I know it's been a little while, but today I thought it would be really fun to give you guys an update of what I've been up to for the past few months, because I have a lot to share with you guys and I'm super excited for you guys to see. But before I say anything else, guys, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So I will be separating today's video into different categories, you could call them. So the first one will be all things lifestyle and or school and other things that have to do outside of writing, basically. So I thought it would be a great idea to start this video off on a really exciting note. And so the first update that I'm going to give you guys is I turned 16. So I had my sweet 16 last month in September and it was like so much fun. On my birthday, or actually a few days before my birthday, because it was actually like on a Monday, we celebrated by going to SeaWorld and I so enjoyed it. Like, it was my very first time going to SeaWorld and my first time going to like a real amusement park in a long time, and I really enjoyed myself. Like, they have so many fun like shows. I saw some dolphins and some sea lions, and I went on this really cool roller coaster called the Kraken, and it was just me and my good mommy, who's like my best, most favorite person in the world, other than God, of course. And we just had a really fun time. So that was definitely one of the highlights of last month and overall my entire time that I've had since I have talked to you guys. Next up, I'm going to be talking about school. So this year I became a sophomore, so I am now in 10th grade. I am like so enjoying it so far. Like, I'm a straight A student, so I've been maintaining straight A's. Things have been pretty relaxed as far as my electives this year. I have digital art, which is really fun because in addition to writing, one of my other main hobbies is doing art, whether it be like traditional art or digital art. And so I taken visual art a few years ago and now I'm taking digital art. So it's a lot of fun to like experiment a little bit and learn some of those techniques. And as well, another really exciting announcement is that I am a dual enrolled college student now. So in addition to taking my high school classes, I am also doing college work. Right now, I'm just taking like a starter course to get me affiliated with college coursework and to be able to, you know, acclimate to having that type of schedule where I have to balance high school and college. And it hasn't been super overwhelming so far. Like, so far I've been having to work on weekends and stuff like that sometimes, but nothing too crazy right now. We'll see what happens as I get further into it, but so far I'm really enjoying it and I think I will continue to enjoy that throughout the rest of the year. Or technically my next few years, because college is more than a one-year endeavor. Lastly, getting my driver's license. Now, I have not gotten it yet, and in fact, I have not even begun to study for it yet, but it is something that I plan to start doing this year. I am 16 now, so it's like the age where you can start, you know, preparing and getting your permit and all that stuff. So I would like to start doing that before the end of 2023. So if you are a teenager and or you've got your driver's license recently or your permit, I would really appreciate if you'd comment some tips down below for studying and just preparing yourself for the exams and stuff. I am like really eager to get my driver's license and really to see what it feels like to have that extra sense of just like another milestone in my life. But it's definitely something that I will want to do in the near future. So now that the lifestyle stuff is over, I'm going to be talking about books next. As you guys know, in some of my recent videos, or I don't think I posted it, you guys, but I recently filmed a video maybe about a month back where I showed you guys some of my newest thrift books that I've got from thrift stores, like around my hometown, because that's like my favorite place to get books, especially when they're in really, really good condition, which they tend to be in my case. And I basically filmed a video where I showed you guys all the new books that I had. So let me know if you guys would like to see that video, or since I have gotten many more books since I actually filmed that, I may just refilm that video and do like a more updated version. But I did want to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek and show you guys some of the most recent books that I've got, all from thrift stores, and I'm super excited to show them to you. So this first one is a New York Times bestseller. I like seen it across social media and across like Google and stuff like that, but I never really paid any attention until I saw it in a thrift store yesterday, and that is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Now, this is a YA fantasy book. It seems kind of like your classic like dystopian type fantasy book, and it really seemed interesting to me once I actually read the synopsis. And what I find kind of funny about this book is it kind of looks super spooky. Like when you look at the cover, like it's like almost like a spooky looking book, but the more I look at it, the more I absolutely love like the character design and all the little details there. Like the artist did a really great job for this cover, and based on the reviews that I've read, it seems like a really powerful and impactful story, and so I'm really excited to dive into it sometime this year, hopefully. Next is another really popular book that's just recently like blown up pretty much everywhere, but specifically on Book Talk, and that is Lightlark by Alex Astor. And this is one that I really wanted to get just because of how kind of controversial this book is in a way. If you guys know, then you know what I'm talking about. There's been many positive reviews about this book as well, and I will say that they definitely outweigh the negatives. So I've heard a lot of great things about it, and my approach to it is like completely unbiased. I just want to see, since this is a debut fantasy novel and it is my goal to be a debut fantasy author within the near future, this was a book that I wanted to get for my own inspiration for my own books, and just to kind of see like where the market is right now, since this is a recent book that blew up so much and did super well. And may I just say, the cover is absolutely gorgeous, you guys, and even on the inside, like the amount of like art that they put into this and like all the little details like in the corners of the pages and stuff, like it's like a really beautiful book. So if you guys have watched some of my earlier videos, you guys know that I have recently started reading the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. All I've gotten to is Cinder so far, and while I have not actually read this in a long time, like I have been slowly like inching to the end of this book, like over like a month span, maybe. No, not a month, what am I talking about? Like maybe like 4 months that I've been like reading this one book. So it's been like a long time coming to finishing this. And my goal, I know I keep saying this for like all these books that I'm showing you guys today, so that may be like a bit of a hefty goal, considering that I'm kind of not a slow reader. Like I read fast, but I don't read a whole lot in one sitting, especially lately that I've been focusing more on writing my own books. But if I could finish at least this first book of the series by the end of the year, that would be awesome. And then that is actually not like a new recent book that I got, even though I did get that one from a thrift store as well. The new one that I got is actually Ferris, which is the book in the series from the villain's point of view, which I thought was really, really interesting. And not only did I want to get this book because I'm a big fan of the series. If you guys do not know about the Lunar Chronicles, it's basically like a really nice sci-fi / fantasy book, and I am loving it so far. Like the romance is like really subtle and sweet, and I really love like the whole world itself and like the magic system. I think it's like a really, really interesting world. And this is from the villain's point of view, but it's like before she actually became a villain. And not only did I want to get this book because this is a series that I really like, based on what I've read from it so far, but I think getting like a villain's perspective like can be really important for us to know as authors. Like in Project Evergreen in particular, which is my current work in progress, by the way, there is no like legitimate villain, I would say. Like there's like an entity in the first series or the first book in the series, but there's no like person that is behind it, or so they think. So this is not really something that I need for this project that I'm doing right now, but for book 2 of the series, and definitely some projects that I'm planning on writing in the near future, there will be like a person who's like the main villain of the story. And I think it's really important for us as authors to not only like know that there's a villain and that this person is probably not the best person, or they're evil, or whatever the case may be, but also I think it's important that we as authors understand how they became that way and why they're that way, like what is their backstory, because that can not only help you get to know that character more and make them more compelling, but it can also add a lot of depth and dimension to your story, like in general. And so I was really curious about this book, just to see like how somebody interpreted like the villain of their story, and to kind of give that as a takeaway to how I can incorporate a backstory in my villains and all my characters' lives, really. All right, you guys, so now we are going to jump into the best part, my favorite part, which is all things writing. So first of all, I know a lot of you guys have probably been curious about it, but Project Evergreen, if you guys do not know, is my current work in progress, my YA fantasy novel, which is kind of like a mix of like dystopian and like really cozy, really cute kind of cottagecore vibes. And it's also like a scientific fiction as well, by the way. But I have been working on this book since January. I got the idea pretty much right after NaNoWriMo of 2022, and it is the book that I worked on for Camp NaNoWriMo in July this year during summer break. And I don't believe I ever like let you guys know whether or not I won. And so I wanted to give you guys the update that I won Camp NaNoWriMo. It was like super rewarding, and I actually ended up doing like the standard goal, which is to write 50K in a month. So that was like a lot for me, but not a lot at the same time, because it was summer and I had a lot of free time on my hands. But like, I'm so proud of myself for getting that done and for really like accomplishing that. And it obviously boosted up Project Evergreen's word count tremendously. So I know you guys are anxious to see what my word count is, and I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. So let's do the official drum roll, please. Project Evergreen is now approximately 95,000 words, which is absolutely insane to me. So when I started NaNoWriMo, Project Evergreen was maybe, or when I started Camp NaNoWriMo, Project Evergreen was approximately 35,000 words, and I did about 50,000 words in that month. But you could say I maybe did 48,000 words in the actual manuscript, because some of that went towards plotting. There are some scenes I didn't keep, and all those other little hiccups that went out the month. However, I probably wrote about 48,000 words within that month. So you could say my word count after was about 83,000 words. And since the last time I talked to you guys, I have been writing a whole bunch, and that is one of the reasons why I have not been posting, because that, along with just getting back into the flow of doing school and then dual enrollment and all that stuff, I took probably about, I will say like a month break after maybe 2 weeks after Camp NaNoWriMo, just because like I tend to do that all the time. Like when I do a big writing challenge like that, I tend to like give myself a little bit of a break, and usually it takes place about a month. But I have recently had plans to send my book off to beta readers, which is really exciting. I am almost done with the actual first draft of the book. And actually, I don't call this so much draft 1, it's more like draft 1.5, because in addition to not having finished my book completely, though we're really close, like maybe like 3 scenes left to go, but I haven't actually finished the first draft yet, and I have actually gotten started with some developmental edits earlier in the story, just because I can kind of be impatient when it comes to stuff like that. Like I was just so eager to get stuff done, and I didn't want to forget, so I just like jumped to the beginning for just a little while to do some tweaks. And there are still things that I want to do, but I do plan on sending my book out to beta readers within the next couple weeks, and so it is definitely something that I'm going to be finishing up really soon, and I'm so excited to like get it done and really like see what some other people have to say about it. In addition, NaNoWriMo is literally right around the corner and it is now Preptober. Now, if you don't know the whole NaNoWriMo thing, it's basically this event that occurs every November where thousands of writers around the globe basically decide to try and write 50,000 words in a month, and it's a really fun writing challenge. I won it last year. I won Camp NaNoWriMo this year where I did that same thing, just not in November. And I do plan on doing the official NaNoWriMo again this year. So if you guys are wondering, I am going to be prepping for my next project in just a little bit, which is super exciting. It is another YA fantasy, I will say that, which is probably not that much of a surprise to you guys because you know that YA fantasy is like my main genre, but it is a YA fantasy, kind of dystopian books, since I guess with Project Evergreen that seems to be a trend of mine, and I have been reading a lot of dystopian lately, so that probably has to do with it too. But it's a YA dystopian fantasy, and I really not so much done a lot of plotting at this point. Like I have scenes in my head, but the book is not really plotted out yet. However, I have made a really compelling magic system. I've got like the backstory and a lot of that world building that I need to do finished, which is really relieving because that's something that I genuinely wanted to make sure I had done. That way, if I do have to do some last minute plotting or character profiles or whatever the case may be, I can have that done, you know, and still work on Project Evergreen and start finishing that up before NaNoWriMo actually starts. While I'm not going to say too much more about this new project, I am going to be working on this during NaNoWriMo if everything goes to plan, and I did want to give you guys a little spoiler of my Pinterest board of the project. Oh, that's right, querying. So querying, I have not started querying Project Evergreen, so calm down you guys before you get too excited, but querying is something that I am planning on doing next year, probably like late January to like early February. I have made plans to query Project Evergreen within the upcoming months, and I am like so excited about that. During this drafting process, when I think about it, I could have probably been done with Project Evergreen right now, but I've been getting distracted with like other things, like especially in like this little stage that I had like 2 months ago. So like there was this period of time where a lot of the time that I was putting into it was querying. So I've already got my list of agents, I've already got my query letter, my synopsis. Of course, I'm gonna go back over all those things before I actually start querying, just to make sure everything's correct in the way I want it and according to standard. But I've got like my whole query package ready. And not only that, but I also spent some time working on this next project that I'm planning on doing for NaNoWriMo. So I have been busy, you guys, and I have been doing other things in addition to Project Evergreen. But I'm like super excited about what is in store for the book. I absolutely love this story. I'm so passionate about it, and I'm like really thankful that I didn't lose that passion, because for a second I knew how much I cared about the book, but like after taking that month break and not writing at all for like a whole month, it felt like a long time for me, especially with how consistent I had been during that Camp NaNoWriMo and stuff like that. So it was like kind of not nerve-wracking, but just kind of like I was hoping that the passion for the project wouldn't go away, and I'm thankful that it hasn't. Like I feel, if anything, more of a passion and more of a drive to get this book done and published now than ever. And so I'm really thankful to have that and to have your guys' support as well. It means like a whole bunch to me. Also, thank you guys so much for helping me reach 350 subscribers. It is like really surreal to see that this channel has grown this much, and I want to thank you guys so much for all of your support. And I thank you guys for hanging in there during that break that I took while I was getting like back into school and back into writing and all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for just listening to me in this chatty, writing video. Look forward to some more updates as I get more into all of my other writing projects within the next few months. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a humongous thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you have not already. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.